Welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276. We begin from the National Assembly, where the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC has presented its 2025 budget estimate to the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, unveiling a 1.75 trillion naira proposal focused on consolidation, accountability, and sustainable development across the Niger Delta region. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
Dr. Samuel Oboku appeared before lawmakers to give an account of the Commission's 2024 performance and outline priorities for the coming year. Dr. Oboku described the NDDC as a critical vehicle for delivering federal government development initiatives to the Niger Delta, stressing that the 2024 budget presents a clear shift from what he called transactional spending to a transformational development model. According to the NDDC Managing Director, the 2025 budget is designed to be people-centered, participatory, and aligned with the renewed hope agenda of the federal government.
I think we will definitely deepen stakeholders' engagement in different aspects, both in the area of youth, women, and also even entrepreneurs in the region. We have carried out such engagements in the past, but for the honorable member to say we should deepen it, it is also well taken. We are going to carry out other engagements.
On budget performance, the Commission disclosed that its 2024 budget of renewed hope projected a revenue of 1.91 trillion naira, but recorded an actual inflow of 1.945 trillion naira as of October 31st, following the extension of the budget cycle to December 2025. For 2025, the proposed 1.75 trillion naira budget-themed budget of consolidation represents a 9% reduction from 2024, reflecting a no-borrowing policy and tighter fiscal discipline.
As of October 31st, 2025, the Commission's actual revenue stood at 1.985 trillion, exceeding the target of 1.911 trillion for April 2024, September to September 2025 by 104%.
The House Committee Chairman, Erikate Ibori Senu, and members assured the Commission of legislative support while emphasizing the need for transparency, accountability, and value for money to ensure that budgetary allocations translate into tangible benefits for the Niger Delta communities.
For our communities, this budget represents hope, opportunity, and the promise of a better quality life.
The House Committee is expected to submit the proposal to further scrutiny before approval as stakeholders look to the 2025 budget to address long-standing development gaps in the Niger Delta. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Association of Nigerian Students has demanded the immediate sack of the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Zak Adedeji, over what it described as gross incompetence, poor performance, and total failure, especially in the design, execution, and public enlightenment about a tax reform law scheduled to take place from January 1st, 2026. This comes as the Student Union has announced January 14, 2026 as a National Day of Action against the controversial law, with plans on the way to mobilize students nationwide for a protest to the presidential villa the same day. This announcement comes a few hours after President Bola Tinubu insisted that there was no going back on the January 1st, 2026 tax enforcement. The federal government says its economic reforms will not be considered successful until they produce measurable improvements in the living condition of Nigerians. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu, made the declaration in Abuja during the ministry's top management meetings across all levels of governance. And now talking politics, Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, has officially joined the coalition-backed African Democratic Congress. Announcing his defection in Enugu State, the former governor of Anambra State stated that his defection ahead of the 2027 election is aimed at transforming and rescuing Nigeria. In the meantime, Nigeria's armed forces have intensified efforts to address evolving security threats across the country as troops continue to record major operational gains against terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping, oil theft, and other criminal activities. This was stated by Defense Director, Media Operations, Major General Michael's briefing in Abuja. Defense correspondent Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The military authorities reviewed the current threat environment, interagency collaboration, the resilience and professionalism of troops confronting complex and asymmetric security challenges nationwide in the year 2025. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, the review is aimed at strengthening strategic decision-making, improving operational effectiveness, and setting clear security priorities for the coming year. The military emphasized that its core mandate remains the protection of citizens and personnel, while also keeping the public informed about the ongoing operations and achievements across the theaters. Within the period under review, troops, in collaboration with other security stakeholders, neutralized several top terrorist commanders, their lieutenants, and foot soldiers. In addition, 4,375 suspected criminals were arrested, while 1,616 terrorists surrendered along with their families. The military also confirmed the successful rescue of 2,336 kidnapped victims across different operational zones.
We also arrested 1,323 suspects alongside their collaborators, gun runners, sympathizers, and 1,616 terrorists surrendered to troops in the Operation Hadinkai area, while 498 kidnapped hostages were rescued. Troops also recovered various arms, ammunition, vehicles, equipment, and a cumulative sum of 32 million naira in cash.
In the Niger Delta region, the director reveals that troops under Operation Delta Save intensify action against oil theft and pipeline vandalism, significantly disrupting illegal activities and contributing to efforts aimed at boosting Niger. An operational update on the 6th Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force in the Northeast, Operation Hadinkai, covering Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State, continued to maintain relative stability in the region. The military, however, acknowledged that the remnants of Boko Haram and the Islamic State West African province still pose threats through isolated attacks, use of improvised explosive devices,
neutralized several criminal elements, arrested 778 criminals and their cohorts, and rescued 53 kidnapped victims. They also foiled oil thefts valued at 8,918,647,206 naira, representing 16,623,542 liters of crude oil.
Despite recorded successes, including arrests, rescues, and neutralization of armed groups, security challenges persist, underscoring the need. As the year 2025 draws to a close, the Armed Forces says operation will continue with renewed focus on protecting lives, securing communities, as well as strengthening national stability. From Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
Let's now head to Adamawa State, where the government has cancelled all activities scheduled for the 2025 crossover night celebration at the Unity flyover in Jamaica, Yola, citing security concerns. The cancellation affects events planned for the night of December 31st, 2025 through the early hours of January 1st, 2026. The state government noted that the decision followed credible intelligence reports indicating potential security risk around the venue. In the meantime, Lagos State Government has announced the cancellation of the Greater Lagos Fiesta 2025, which was scheduled to hold on December 31st, 2025. The announcement was conveyed in a statement issued by the Governor's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Gboyega Akosile, following the approval of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. According to the statement, Sanwo-Olu directed that in place of the annual Greater Lagos Fiesta, also known as the Countdown for 2026, residents of the state should spend quality time in personal prayers for the nation, the state, and the people of Lagos. The new year is just hours away, and across Nigeria, the atmosphere is filled with excitement, hope, and renewed expectation. As 2026 approaches, many Nigerians are looking forward to celebrating the moment in different ways, despite prevailing economic and social challenges. Global Television's correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
From religious gathering and family reunions to quiet reflections and community celebrations, Nigerians say the new year represents a fresh start and an opportunity to embrace better possibilities. For many Nigerians, the countdown to the new year is more than a celebration. It is a moment of gratitude and hope. Some residents say they plan to usher in 2026 in churches and mosques, thanking God for the gift of life and praying for a better year ahead.
I plan to spend this new year very fantastic chill, with good health, because without health we cannot spend the new year.
I'll spend it normally. Even today is my birthday, so me and my brother will soon go for photo show.
Others say they will celebrate with families and friends at home, sharing meals, exchanging goodwill messages, and reflecting on the lessons of the outgoing year.
As always with family. Well, the year is always very busy.
However, some Nigerians admit that the economic realities will influence how they celebrate, opting for modest gatherings while still remaining hopeful that the new year will offer improved living conditions and opportunities. Despite individual differences in celebration plans, a common message cuts across the voices of the streets: hope for peace, progress, and prosperity in the coming year. As the nation counts down to 2026, Nigerians remain optimistic, believing that the new year will open doors to better days ahead. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Now, rising insecurity across Nigeria is increasingly putting the education sector under pressure, with boarding school outside major cities becoming a growing concern for parents. From kidnapping to attacks on schools in rural communities, many families are now questioning whether it is still safe to keep their children in boarding schools located far from urban cities. Our correspondent Kabir Hassan spoke with parents to get their opinions.
Education remains a cornerstone of national development, but insecurity is gradually eroding parent confidence, especially when it comes to boarding schools located outside city centers. Across Nigeria, many boarding schools are situated in remote areas, often chosen for their quiet learning environment. However, ongoing security challenges have turned these once attractive locations into sources of fear for parents. On the streets of Abuja, parents shared mixed feelings torn between the desire to give their children quality education and the growing concern for their safety.
What government should do is to make sure that all the schools, especially these colleges that are under federal government and other private schools outside the city, to make sure that they deploy security agencies, something like police, armies, and other security agencies.
If you don't have good management who protect the school, who have good securities around that environment, there will also be problem of insecurity.
Some parents say the situation has forced them to constantly live in fear, while others admit they have considered withdrawing their children or relocating them to day schools within the city. They argue that while education is important, safety must come first, especially in a country grappling with persistent security threats.
Parents should allow their children to stay at home for now because their safety is more important than education.
The best thing the federal government should do is to make sure that the police, the army and other security agencies are being deployed to various schools across the country.
The security must be technologically oriented, not just technology doesn't compromise. You hear of security operatives depart from a checking point, then there's an attack. But with the technology, it should not compromise.
Many wondered continued insecurity could discourage enrollment in boarding schools and further strain Nigeria's education system. Parents are calling on government at all levels to strengthen security around schools, particularly those in rural and semi-urban areas, to restore confidence and protect the future of Nigerian children. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Mali, Burkina Faso to restrict entry from United States nationals in reciprocal move. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where crude oil and condensate production data from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission indicates that Nigeria produced a total of 443.25 million barrels of crude oil between January and October 2025. According to Commission's report, this translates to an average of 1.46 million barrels per day. Despite intermittent improvements, the output level meant that Africa's largest oil producer remained below its 1.5 million barrels per day crude oil quota set by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, achieving about 97% of the quota during the 10-month period. Still talking business, now following the implementation of the Tax Act, the Central Bank of Nigeria says banks will start charging senders a 50 naira stamp duty on electronic transfer of 10,000 naira and above from January 1st, 2026. The stamp duty or electronic money transfer levy is a single one-off charge of 50 naira on electronic receipt or transfer of money deposited in any commercial money bank or financial institution on any type of amount from 10,000 naira and above. The regulatory bank said it remains committed to transparency and to keeping customers informed about changes that may affect their banking transactions. Now, as Nigeria prepares to implement new tax laws from January 1st, 2026, concerns and expectations are growing among citizens, from traders to professionals. Many are trying to understand how the new law will affect their income and daily lives. Global Television's Priscilla Obasi has details.
As conversations around the 2026 tax laws begin to surface, the question is not just about what the policy says, but who actually understands it. So we stepped out to ask everyday Nigerians one simple question. Have you heard about the 2026 tax law, and what comes to your mind when you do?
When I heard about the new tax law, I felt that it could be another means of generating more revenue for the nation. But on the other hand, based on the the narratives out there, it's as if another way again to exploit the citizens.
Me, I felt we've already started paying a lot of tax already because of the VAT and everything they take from, you go to the supermarket to buy something, anything you buy, they remove money, you recharge, they remove, you pay into somebody's account, they remove, somebody pay into your account, they remove, and the rest. I think that one is already enough tax. I think so.
While some residents expressed concerns about increased financial pressure amidst economic hardship, others said effective taxation could improve governance if managed transparently.
It's not bad, because if you are in level 1, you will still struggle to go to upper level.
To provide clarity on the policy, a tax expert who appeared on Global Morning explained that the new law is designed to simplify the tax system and improve accountability, but warned that public awareness and fairness will be key to its success.
A lot of people get this confused, right? It's not your whole salary that will be taxed. You will still get some statutory deductions that are allowable, for ascertaining your taxable income. Those will still be allowable even in the new regime. And then the tax table has also been revised from what it used to be.
As the policy draws close to implementation, the conversation continues around communication, trust, and implementation. For now, the conversation continues. I am Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News.
The World Bank has urged developing countries to play a more active role in shaping global trade standards, warning that a rapidly expanding set of international rules is increasingly tilting economic benefits towards wealthy nations and large multinational companies. In its World Development Report 2025, Standard for Development, the bank said standards covered in areas ranging from food labeling to 5G telecommunications have become a form of foundational economic infrastructure as critical to growth as roads, port systems. The documents noted that while standards have helped reduce trade frictions and global economic boosts, they are also being used as non-tariff barriers in trade disputes. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has called on Israel recognition of Somaliland illegitimate and unacceptable as he hosted a visit by his Somalian counterpart. At a joint press conference following bilateral talks, both Erdogan and Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud condemned the recognition of Somaliland as an independent state by Israel, with Turkey pledging to stand by the Somali people. Over to Uyi Agbomofuegbe for the rest of the story.
Israel sparked criticism last Friday when it said it was officially recognizing Somaliland, a breakaway territory in Somalia's north. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar defended the decision to recognize Somaliland. The declaration was a first for the territory, which in 1991 had unilaterally declared secession from Somalia.
Strongly rejected Prime Minister Netanyahu's illegal aggression in recognizing part of Somalia's northern regions as an independent state. This aggression and the blatant meddling constitute a clear violation of the international law, the Charter of the United Nations, the Constitutive Act of the African Union, and all established diplomatic norms.
Turkey, a close ally of Somalia, has frequently clashed with Israel over a range of issues, especially the conflict in Gaza and Israeli obstruction of aid to the Palestinian territory. He called Netanyahu's Somaliland declarations violation of international law and the start of insecurity and instability, especially for Somalia and the African region. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Mali, Burkina Faso have announced travel restrictions on American nationals in a tit-for-tat move after the United States included both African countries on a no-entry list. In a statement issued separately by both countries' foreign ministers, they said they were imposing equivalent measures on the United States citizens after President Donald Trump expanded the travel ban to nearly 40 countries this month, based solely on nationality. Burkina Faso's foreign ministry said in the statement that it was applying equivalent visa measures on Americans, while Mali said it was, with immediate effect, applying the same conditions and requirements on American nationals that the American authorities have imposed on Malian citizens entering the United States. And now to sports. Nigerian midfielder Raphael Onyedika is basking in the joy of scoring a brace in Nigeria's 3-1 victory over Uganda, which powered the Super Eagles to a perfect group stage campaign at the ongoing 2025 African Cup of Nations. In his first ever AFCON start for Nigeria, that marked his return to the starting lineup since November 2024 with 2 goals within 5 minutes. He got his first in the 62nd minute when Samuel Chukwueze found him. He surged into the box and slotted through the Ugandan goalkeeper's legs to put the contest beyond any doubt. Still talking sport, Nigeria's Aruna Quadri has finished 2025 as Africa's top-ranked table tennis player in the final year ranking released on Tuesday by the International Table Tennis Federation. Quadri, who has held the continental #1 position for most of the year, closed the season ranked 28 in the world with 1,065 points, making him the only African player to surpass the 1,000 mark on the men's ranking. Egypt's Omar Assar is the next best on the continent, sitting 32nd globally with 965 points in the ranking published as 2026 Week 1. And that's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms, now showing on your screen, using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.